Morning television has always been about comfort. It's where millions of viewers turn each day for a familiar face, a steady voice, and a sense of routine that helps ease them into whatever the day might bring. For years, Ripa has been one of those familiar faces, someone audiences feel they know, trust, and welcome into their homes. That's exactly why a recent moment on her morning show stood out. There were no breaking news banners, no dramatic music, no emotional confession, and yet viewers noticed. What Kelly shared wasn't loud or headline-grabbing. It was calm, brief, and delivered in the same natural tone she's used for decades. Still, something about it felt different, subtle enough to pass unnoticed at first, but meaningful enough that many viewers paused and reflected. This is the story behind that quiet update, and why it resonated with so many people watching.
A morning show built on familiarity. Ripa's success on daytime television hasn't come from controversy or shock value. Instead, it's been built on consistency, relatability, and authenticity. Morning after morning, she appears on screen as someone who feels approachable, someone who laughs easily, listens carefully, and understands the rhythm of everyday life. Viewers don't tune in expecting life-changing announcements, they tune in for connection. That's what made this particular update stand out. It fits seamlessly into the show's flow, yet it carried a tone that felt slightly more reflective than usual. The moment that felt different. The update itself wasn't framed as a major announcement. Kelly didn't pause for emphasis or signal that something important was coming. She simply shared a thought, briefly and calmly, before moving on. But for longtime viewers, the difference was noticeable. Her words were measured, her delivery was softer, her presence felt thoughtful. Nothing was explicitly stated, yet the tone invited viewers to listen a little more closely.
Why viewers paid attention? In today's media environment, audiences are used to being told when something is big or breaking. Bold graphics and dramatic phrasing usually leave little room for interpretation. This moment was the opposite. Because it wasn't presented as urgent, it felt genuine. Because it wasn't emotional, it felt sincere. And because it wasn't explained in detail, viewers were left to reflect on it in their own way. Many fans later described the update as quietly meaningful or unexpectedly grounding. The power of calm communication. One reason Ripa remains relevant after so many years is her ability to communicate without forcing emotion. She doesn't rush moments or overstate their importance. She allows them to exist naturally. That approach builds trust. When a host who is known for her upbeat energy chooses a calmer tone, viewers notice, not because they're alarmed, but because they feel respected enough to draw their own conclusions.
A reflection of where morning TV is today. Daytime television has changed over the years. Audiences now value authenticity more than spectacle. They respond to moments that feel real rather than rehearsed. Kelly's update reflected that shift. Instead of offering a polished monologue, she shared something brief and genuine, acknowledging the moment without turning it into a performance. That balance is rare, and it's part of why her audience remains loyal. Viewer reactions. Quiet, not loud. Interestingly, the reaction online mirrored the tone of the update itself. There wasn't outrage or speculation, just quiet discussion. Fans commented that they appreciated the honesty. Others said the moment felt refreshing. Some admitted it made them pause and think about their own routines. It wasn't viral in the traditional sense, but it lingered.
Why subtlety still matters. In a media landscape dominated by extremes, subtlety can be powerful. Ripa's update didn't demand attention, it earned it. That's an important reminder for content creators and broadcasters alike. Sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones that aren't announced as such. A trusted presence in changing times.
Kelly has spent decades adapting to changes in television without losing her core identity. She understands that viewers don't just watch for entertainment, they watch for familiarity, stability, and reassurance. This calm update reinforced that role. It showed that even in brief moments, a trusted voice can still make an impact without raising its volume. Why this moment will be remembered. This wasn't a moment people will replay for dramatic effect. It's one they'll remember because of how it made them feel. Calm, connected, and understood. And in the world of morning television, that may be the most powerful reaction of all.
Kelly Ripa didn't announce a major change. She didn't tease future surprises. She didn't explain every detail. She simply shared a calm update and trusted her audience to feel its meaning. That trust is why viewers noticed, and it's why they'll continue to tune in. As the show moved on and the morning continued, many viewers probably didn't realize why that brief moment stayed with them. There was no dramatic headline to explain it, no follow-up segment to break it down. And yet, long after the screen faded, something lingered. That's the power of calm. In a world where noise often dominates attention, Kelly Ripa chose something different. She didn't try to make the moment bigger than it was. She didn't turn it into a statement or an explanation. She simply allowed it to exist and trusted the audience to meet it where it was. For longtime viewers, that trust mattered. Morning television has always been more than entertainment. It's part of people's routines. It plays in the background while coffee is poured, lunches are packed, and days quietly begin. The hosts who appear on screen become familiar presences, almost like distant friends. And when one of those familiar voices shifts, even slightly, it's felt. This wasn't a moment of alarm, it wasn't a moment of celebration, it was a moment of recognition. Many viewers later described feeling unexpectedly calm, grounded, even reassured, not because everything was explained, but because it wasn't. The lack of urgency made the update feel real, honest, human. Sometimes reassurance doesn't come from answers, it comes from tone.
Kelly's calm delivery reminded audiences that not every moment needs to be framed as dramatic to be meaningful, that reflection can exist without fear, that pauses are allowed, and that even brief words can carry weight when they're spoken sincerely. In today's fast-moving media cycle, moments like these are rare. We're often told how to feel before we've had time to feel anything at all. This time, viewers were simply invited to notice. And many did. They noticed the softness in her voice. They noticed the pacing. They noticed the intention behind not making a big deal out of it. That's why this moment resonated, not because it demanded attention, but because it respected it. As the episode ended and the day went on, the update didn't fade away. It quietly settled into viewers' thoughts, showing that sometimes the most powerful messages aren't delivered with emphasis, but with care. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Not every update needs to shock. Not every moment needs to trend. Not every story needs a dramatic ending. Sometimes, all it takes is a calm voice, a familiar face, and a moment of honesty to remind people why they keep watching in the first place. If you noticed this moment too, you're not alone. And if you didn't at first, maybe now you understand why so many others did. Because the quiet moments, they're often the ones that stay with us the longest.